Hello, everyone.
Thank you.
Can you hear me? Is it okay? Cool. My name is Emily. I am from DeTectUs, the SensUs team at the Technical University of Denmark, and welcome to our translational potential pitch. In 2016, 2 million doses of vancomycin were given at Danish hospitals. Vancomycin is given as treatment for serious, life-threatening infections that cannot be cured by other antibiotics. This makes it really important to monitor. At the same time, the workflow is extremely time-consuming, and thus creating a need to monitor this even further. We have performed a field study at the Copenhagen University Hospital, where we interviewed a senior physician, and we learned about this workflow. The current test setup in Denmark at the Danish hospitals is, as you can see, a little bit confusing. So it takes a lot of time for the patients to get treated with vancomycin, because first there needs to be a lab technician available for blood sampling and afterwards testing in the lab. And this is also time consuming because by the time the test gets in, the doctor who ordered the test in the first place may have finished their shift hours ago. And as you can see on this figure here that we created, there's a lot of waiting time in between each of these steps. And waiting time is a waste of time. And wasting time is the last thing we want for patients with serious life-threatening infections. Which is why we have to find a quicker way for doctors to measure the level of vancomycin in blood plasma. But fear not, because we have the solution to this. Sorry. So with our sensor, the need for this sensor is that the doctors and the nurses can perform the measurements themselves, and thus efficiently reducing the waiting time from hours to minutes for the treatment of life-threatening infections. Our sensor does rapid analysis. It's easy to fabricate, as the production line is very, very simple. There is no need for lab technicians because the doctors and nurses will perform the measurements themselves. And lastly, but equally importantly, the device, of course, does precise measurements. Now, no projects are without challenges. The challenges that we're facing right now is that we need more market insight, as well as actual set contracts with hospitals. We also need to create a proper production system to actually manufacture our biosensor. So to sum up, our biosensor makes fast, easy, and accurate measurements of vancomycin in blood plasma. And it may sound like everyone else here, but the breaking news from us is that now the test can be performed by the doctors and the nurses directly in the individual departments at the hospitals, instead of in the hospital labs that are way too time-consuming. Because waiting time is a waste of time. Thank you. Questions? Yeah?
What are the costs of cleaning the device? Because you are bringing it to the wards, into the rooms.
So the cost of cleaning the device. Yes, me personally, I will pay for it. No, we don't do repeatedly use of the same chips because it's a hospital, so it has to be changed every time, no matter how well you clean it. It's just a matter of procedure. It has to be a new chip every time. The device that measures.
Yeah, because it will be on a ward where the bacteria are, or in a room where the existing bacteria.
They have actual cleaning facilities in the laboratories, in the hospitals, so they will still be useful. It's not that we just ignore that they exist, we just don't use the personnel there. So it will still be used for cleaning and for maintenance. Okay, what makes me think I have a faster and more efficient workflow? Do you want to answer anything? Or?
Yeah, so the current workflow, that the lab technician has to be available to go and make the blood sample in the wards and then go to the central laboratory at the hospitals and then execute the analyze. and by using our device, they can execute the analyze in the wards instead of have to go to the central laboratory. So we haven't got any prototype out to the hospitals yet, but that is to come.
And I just want to add that we actually spoke to a senior physician at the hospital, and we asked her whether or not she would find this device actually useful. Because one thing is the task that we're given in a competition like this, but whether or not they would actually use it if we were to start a company with this later on, if it actually works as intended. And her answer was blank yes. She even asked us when we could have it ready for them. Have we considered asking 100 nurses? We're 10 people. We will, and I mean, it was a senior physician, so I assume that she has a lot more contact to more than just one nurse, for example, seeing as she is the head of her department at the hospital. So I trust her when she speaks on behalf of her department, of course. But surely more studies should be conducted before just launching a company with this.
How much money can you make with this?
Sorry? How much money we can make with this? Well, very quickly, first of all comes patient safety.
Yeah, I'm going to wrap you up because we are going to give the floor to the next team. But another applause, please, for DeTectUs. Thank you.